Wow, welcome to 2024. It's an amazing year, a beautiful year, and I believe that all of us out there are happy to be in this year. I just can't wait to see what this year has for me as a person, the leader of the Martha Inspires Foundation, and also the host of the Reflections TV show. I just can't wait to bring you back-to-back great content here for you to learn. Last year, maybe you made some resolutions, some plans, and you felt that they all did not manifest. You are probably blaming yourself, or you didn't even know how to develop your personal plan for yourself as a young person or even an adult. We want to help ourselves, all of us, look at how we can develop a personal development plan. How do we create a personal development plan for ourselves so that you can follow it step by step to achieve, if not everything, but majority of the things that you want to build for yourself. I am Martha Inspires. Let's take a break. When we are back, we start the conversation. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. We want to look at how we can create personal development plan for ourselves this year. And I have here with me Madam Linda Kofi. She's a corporate trainer and the executive director for Global Purpose Center. Am I correct?
Yes, please.
Yes. So she's been doing these trainings, mentorship, trainings, just making sure that you become a better person. And then she's also making sure that if you meet her, you don't go back the same. It's not only in the church that we say your life will never be the same, but when you meet her, your life will never be the same. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so we want to look at how we can create a plan for ourselves. So it's 2024. People are asking, how will this year go? How do I start? How do I do this and all of that? How do I even start? What is even a development plan? Talk less of creating it, then how do I create it? So let's look at what is a development plan in the first place.
Okay, thank you so much. I think before we can talk about a personal development plan, we have to know what personal development is in the first place, so that it can guide us to be able to develop a personal development plan. So basically, when we talk about personal development, it just means a sum total of all the actions, the steps, the effort that an individual will put in place to ensure that he or she becomes a better person, he or she becomes the person that can possess the future that he or she envisions. Basically, that is personal development. Let me practicalize it. So if you have a child, and let's say you will your properties to the child, you give your child $1 million, what have you? The child is a millionaire, but at that stage, he or she cannot possess $1 million because the child doesn't have the mental fortitude to handle $1 million. The child doesn't have the mental fortitude to drive the car you have given to him or her. So the child would have to grow. The child would have to develop. The child would have to go through some stages to be able to come to the point where they can now possess the $1 million. So that at the point when you are giving it to them, you know that the $1 million will not kill them, but it will help them position them better for the future. So that is basically personal development, the process of growing, becoming a better person, shedding the old skin off, and becoming a new person. I always use this as an example. If you have a vision of working in the UN, definitely your old self cannot take you there. You need a new Martha or a new Linda to be able to get to that point. So that is basically what we mean by personal development. So when we talk about a personal development plan, then we are saying a carefully crafted step-by-step guide or a strategy that you are going to use to help you to attain the future. Usually when you look at the future and you look at the now, there's a big gap.
That's true.
And a lot of the times when you look at the future, it looks a bit complicated, but it is your personal development plan that is going to break it down into, little steps. How you are going to move from here to there. You move from A to B, B to C, to get there. So the plan is a carefully crafted step-by-step guide or a step-by-step strategy that you, the individual, you can use to enhance yourself or to help you achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. Yes, that's a personal development plan.
In all that, do I have to write it down? Do I have to record it? Do I have to memorize it? How do I even set the goals? Am I just saying, okay, 1, I want to buy a car. 2, I want to get a new job. 3, I want to get married. But how do I put it that that can guide me?
Okay, so when you are developing a personal development plan, I always say that the first step is to come to the realization that you need a personal development plan. The first step is to come to the realization that my current self cannot possess the future that I want to possess. The plans that God has for me, they are so beautiful, so amazing, so huge that this me can't go there. So you first of all have to come to that realization. Until you come to that realization, you've not even started at all. It's like when you are sick, you have to admit that I am sick. That is it is you admitting you are sick. That is what will make you put in the effort of going to the hospital. So the first step that anybody at all should take when you want to develop a personal development plan, you have to come to that conclusion that you need it. You have to come to the conclusion that it is important for your future. Until you come to that conclusion, you've not even started yet. You can start along the way, you drift off because you didn't establish in your heart that you need it. So now you have established that you need a personal development plan. We are in 2024. I mean, everybody wants good things. Nobody wants bad things. Everybody wants good things. So definitely we've come to the realization that in a new year, we need to achieve certain things. That's why we even have resolutions in the first place. So after coming to that conclusion, then the first thing that you have to do is to do a self-assessment.
Okay.
So you have to assess your current state. Currently, where do I stand? And I usually tell people that to make it simple, you have to touch on the 6 very important pillars of life. We have the spiritual, we have the physical, you have the mental, you have your career, you have your finance, you have your work or your ministry or your purpose. So these are the 6 areas that you have to assess yourself on. So you have to assess yourself, where do I stand currently? Because if you don't know where you stand, you won't know the future you want to achieve. Currently, I know that I'm in Tamale. Maybe in the next 10 years, I want to be somewhere. I have to first of all know that this is where I stand. So in your spiritual life, where do you stand? And you do this, usually I advise people to do this with a book. A book and a pen, because somebody will say my plans are in my head. It will dissipate. By the time we get to March, the pressures of life, it will dissipate. So it's ideal for you to have a notebook, a pen. So the first is for you to assess yourself spiritually. Where do I stand? What is my relationship with God with? And where do I want to get to? Do I want to get to the point where I can hear the voice of God? So you have to assess yourself. So you do that on your spiritual life. Then you look at your physical life, your health. Do you have to incorporate, different eating habits? Then you look at your ministry or your purpose, the calling that God has given to you, because it's very essential. You look at your work. If you're a student, you can tackle your education. You look at your finances. So you cover almost every aspect of life. But if you don't go by these 6 pillars and you just do them randomly, it's very possible that you'd leave some aspect out. But when you go them like that in line, then you can capture a lot of the things. So you have to assess yourself. Where do I stand currently? So you do that by writing. So you probably write maybe spiritual life. Then you assess yourself. Then you go to your physical, you assess yourself. So you do that till you go around all the pillars. Then afterwards, you also ask yourself, where do I want to be in 2024 by 31st December. Where do I want to be? Where do I see myself? Also for the same spiritual, physical, mental, your career, your education. So you do it for all the 6 of them. And then after you have assessed your current state and the future you want to have, then you ask yourself, what do I need to do now to take me there? So that is the third stage. What do I have to do now to take me there? That is the third stage. And all this while you are writing, like I said, don't say I'm putting it in my head. It will vanish. It will vanish by the time, you know, somebody said we are all on survival mode. So if you don't write, you can easily forget. So all this while you are writing, you have a quiet space. Usually I want to do it in a very quiet environment where there are very little disturbances so that you can fully concentrate and give it all your attention. So the third stage is for you to now determine what you have to do now to get you there. So if you want to do a PhD, then what do you do now? It means you have to buy a form. You have to do this and this and this. You must have a research topic that you've probably thought about, or a problem you've identified you want to solve. So these are the things you can do now to get you there. So that if you don't do this step, then it will become vague or it will become complex. You are here, you want to get there, then it becomes, how do I get it? It becomes a problem. But when you do this third step, then it gives you a clear indication or a clear direction of what to do to get you to where you want to be. So that is the third stage of developing a personal development plan. Then the next stage is to set goals. So we are going to use the answers from the third stage to set our goals. So for example, let's still use the PhD as an example. So then buying forms and, you know, having a thesis or a research topic becomes the goal. So the goal becomes to buy a form and to have a research area already in mind. That becomes the goal. That becomes the goal. And the goal must answer 6 questions. Is the what question. The what question is what you want to do. So what you want to do is to buy the form, or is to have a research area, or to, you know, identify a problem you think you can solve. That becomes the what. Then the second thing that must be in your goal is the why. Why do you want to achieve it? What is driving you? Why do you even want to do it? If you don't do it, what will happen? Will the world come to an end? You know, so you must also identify why you want to do it. Because if you don't identify the why, at some point when the challenges come, you may want to give up. So why do you want to do a PhD? Why do you want to get married? Why do you want to buy a car? What is the purpose behind it? What is the reason behind it? You have to be able to figure it out. So all this while you are still writing, you have to be able to figure the why out. Then the when. The when becomes the timeline. When do you want to do it? So when are forms coming out? Maybe by March, forms will come out. Then the March becomes your timeline. It means that by April, if you haven't bought a form, then already that goal
cannot be
gone.
met.
It has already gone into the drain. So we have to give ourselves timelines. It will be able to help you to know if you are achieving the goal or not. If you want to get married, when? If you say I'll get married in 2024, I can tell you that December 31st, you say, I wanted to marry.
I forgot to marry.
Exactly.
I was so busy that I forgot to marry.
You'll be so busy that you'd forget to marry. That is because you didn't give yourself a timeline. Then the next thing you want to do is the how. How, practically. So if you want to get married and you are single, then it means that you should probably be, you know, going to conferences, going for church that's the how.
So you can meet the Mr. Right or the Mrs. Right.
Exactly. So how do you want to do it? If you want to buy a car, how? It means you should be saving some monies. That kind of, so that becomes the how you want to achieve it. Because if you don't know how you want to achieve it, then the goal is you are better off without the goal in the first place. So how do you want to achieve it? How do you want to go about it? You see, somebody said that there are a lot of ways to get to Accra. Somebody can decide to walk. That's how. Somebody can go by air. That's how. Somebody can go with a bicycle. That's how. So how do you want to get to Accra? How do you want to get to US? Somebody can, you know, recently some people went by road to
from Accra to Tamale and back.
Somebody can decide to go by road. That's your how. So you also have to be able to identify how you want to do what you want to do. Then we also look at the who. The who is the people around you who can support you to achieve the goal. No man is an island. We all know that. So who is going to support you? If you want to get married, then definitely you need your family members to be able to. So who? You factor all these people into your goal, into your plan, so that when the time comes, it doesn't become difficult because you've already factored all these people into your plan. If you want to get married or if you want to buy a car, who is going to help you? If you are taking a loan from EcoBank, EcoBank becomes your who. EcoBank becomes a necessary part.
For a bank, go ahead. That's why, go ahead.
So they become a necessary part of your goal. So without them, you can't buy your car. If you want to travel to the US and you are using a traveling agent, they necessarily become part of your goal. So who and what institutions? The who covers the people and the institutions. So it could be individuals, it could be institutions. Anybody at all who is going to help you to achieve the goal. Then the last part is the where. We have to be able to attach locations to our goals.
Okay.
We have to be able to attack. That's one mistake a lot of us do, and that's the reason, one of the reasons we don't achieve our goals. Oh, I want to travel to where?
Anywhere. So some people just apply to Germany, to Canada, to UK, to anywhere. Once they just get accepted, they want to just leave Ghana.
They just want to leave Ghana. So even
with the schools,
people
finish senior high school and they apply to nursing, they apply to teaching, they apply to the university and all they want is, I want to go to tertiary.
To
so they don't really know what really
they've not attached a location to the goal. So it makes it's like you are floating. Anything goes. So we have to be able to attach a location to the goal. So if you want to do a PhD, then are you looking at any of the universities in Kumasi, in Accra? You have to attach a location to your goal. That way the edge to achieve it is higher than
realistic.
Somebody who has just left it to God or left it to nature to decide. Like you want to bugger, you just want to bugger. Even if you go to Togo, you have buggered. But is it Togo you really want to go to? Is it Nigeria you want to go to? Even Nigeria, you have buggered. You've gone outside the country. At least you've sat in an airplane. So we have to be able to attach locations to the goals that we have. So basically, that is how you develop a personal development plan for yourself.
Hey, this is so much. So much. Let's take a break.
Naima, I have a challenge with my aunt since I was in basic 5. If I'm in class learning on the board, it reflects. So I can't see well, I can't read well, so I have a problem with learning. So when I heard about the eye screen in Matter Research Foundation, I decided to come over and see how it will help me, and I'm very happy to be here today.
Welcome back. We are still looking at how we can create a personal development plan for ourselves this year. We have looked at some of the things you've mentioned, goal setting, and I think one of the things you highly recommend is writing it down.
Exactly.
Where do we write it down? Is it on a slate, on a board, or do you have to keep a diary? Do you need to go back? I think that can help us. How do we go about it?
So personally for me, I would like to keep a diary. So when you come to my room, I have a lot of diaries with the years. So I have 2019 diary, 2020 diary. So I would like to keep a notebook, something that you can always carry with you. Because one thing about the goal setting is that it has to be visible. It has to be something you are seeing every day. Because you know, when your eye sees it, then it gingers you. It makes it more easier for you to achieve it. But let's say you have typed it somewhere, thrown it under your carpet or under your pillow, then it's more like you didn't even set the goals at all. And so you have to go with a diary and a pen. Keep it with you. It's always in my bag. My diary is always in my bag. Anytime I go to the office, before I start the office work, sometimes I flip some of the pages, look at the goals I've set for myself. Some of them, when you see them, you get scared. I said I was going to do this. Last year, I said I was going to take a course. I totally forgot about it. One day I was in the office, I was flipping through the book. I said I was going to take a course in project management. I didn't do it. So in as much as you'd set the goal, the probability that you'd forget is high, because like I said, everybody's trying to, survive and all of that. So you have to write it in a notebook, keep it close to you. Even you can carry it to church anywhere, so that once in a while when you flip through, you remember that, last year I said I was going to do this. Then it gives you the energy, and then you go back to it. So always go with a notebook and a pen.
Let me deviate a bit and let's talk about financial goal setting, because all these things, I want to marry, I want to go to school, I want to have a course, I want to do this, blah blah, it all comes sometimes with finances. That is why people are not able to even do these things. How can we have a financial development plan? Do we just have to spend our money anyhow? Just touch on that.
Yes, so thank you so much for that point. So usually what I say is that what I teach people to do is to attach monetary value to their goals. Yes, to attach monetary value to their goals. If you want to marry, definitely you need money. How much money? Maybe 10,000, 20,000. So if you know that 2024 March you want to get married, it means you should have probably started saving maybe last year, depending on your income. So you have to look at your income, depending on your income, if you are not a worker too, depending on where you are getting your resources from, you have to consider all these things. Then you start planning way ahead, so that when the time comes, you are not, found wanting. So savings is one very important key. For me, for every month, there's some amount of money I push into savings. No matter what happens, it has to go into savings. Even if it's 10% of your income, it has to go into the savings. Then there's a portion for emergency, because a lot of the things, maybe somebody is getting married. It wasn't something you are adding to your plans, but a colleague is getting married, you have to donate, you have to do this. All these things, you take them from your emergency fund. So apart from the savings, there's also emergency funds that I'm building. So that's also one thing that people can learn, especially if you earn monthly income, then you don't have any excuse. So by all means, some amount of money would have to go into the emergency fund. Let's say somebody's not feeling well, you have to contribute. That is not the time to go and pick money from your savings. It's an emergency. So you go pick the money from your emergency fund. Then there's some portion you put into investment. Okay. Also, I'm talking about those
emergency fund, savings,
and then investment. Exactly. So money you are putting into bonds, money you are putting into all these, things that can bring you back some profit. So as you do these things for some time, then you realize that by the time you want to get married, you have enough funds to get. You don't get married and be hoping that people will dash. That will come, but that shouldn't be part of
make their budget on expectations. I've heard people say that, even the church offering, when I open the envelopes, 1 CD, 2 CDs notes inside, we didn't even get enough at our wedding. I tell people that you are getting married. Plan, as you don't get money at all. You are hoping that probably because you know this person and that person. There are couples I know who, when they took like every gift that came in, not just the church offering, anyone that ever called them and said, except those that were in kind. Maybe somebody say, okay, I'll pay for your cake, I'll pay for your shoe. But if anyone ever gave them money, they put all their money together and left it at the altar. And told God that we are sowing this seed into our marriage, and let our marriage stand on the rock of the word of God.
Wow.
So if you have that, you go and meet after the woman, we may not always have much, but if you go and meet a man who says that you're making your plans based on what your friends are going to give you, even if you hide it, it will tend to what's the name? You've not stolen from God against the covenant.
Exactly.
So why do you get married and think that, okay, I know Linda gives me some 100 or 200 cedis. I know the person. So you have done your calculation based on your circle.
Exactly. I think maybe there has to be more education. Yes, we have to let people know that you can plan your life financially. You don't have to, you know, depend on people. People will give you money. That's okay. That's fine. That's part of it. But you don't build your whole life or your whole marriage on what if people genuinely don't have and they don't give you, then what happens? So you have to start. That's even the reason we are here, right? So if you know you'd get married next year, you start now. You look at your income, your
especially
partner's
for the
income.
men, because women, I may only be able to start saving for my wedding gown or my shoe or maybe the cake and the pastries, but you have to save a bit more because you may have to save for the bride price. And in some instances, the man, you're even expected to take care of everything concerning the wedding, from her wedding gown to her hair to her shoes. Some women will say, okay, don't worry, I'll buy my own shoe, I'll do my own hair and makeup, but just buy the dress for me. But if you meet a woman who probably isn't working or who doesn't even believe in let's share the bill, you have to go and take care of everything.
Exactly.
Let's look at school, planning financially for education.
Okay, so I think that will not be too different from the marriage. That won't be too different, but probably depending on the level, because example, if you are doing a bachelor's degree, then probably you are still under the care of your parents. Yes, you are still under their care and they'll be able to support you. So you could find out, like I said, if you are going next year, you do all the preparations now. How much does it cost to buy a university form? How much? Just you may not even have the exact amount, but an estimate is even fine. How much does the hostel fee cost? How much does the school fees cost? So when you're able to, you know, do all these, if your parents are supporting you, maybe you'd help them, you let them know that this is how much is involved, you start saving towards it gradually. But if you are doing a postgraduate course and you are going to fund yourself, then first of all, like I said, you could also save towards it, or you could also look for scholarship opportunities. That is if they are available. You could start, you know, scouting for scholarship opportunities. Okay, and if you also have some skills that is in demand, you could work and also earn some money to support yourself in school. So we've talked about the savings. We've also talked about scholarship opportunities and maybe your family or your parents helping you, especially if you are doing a first degree. Most probably you'll still be with your parents. Even sometimes for some people, even at the master's level, they still
have their parents
with their parents. Yes, exactly. So if you are blessed like that, then maybe you could just have some estimate to guide your parents so that you don't get to a level and then you are stuck. And if you also have some skills, like you have some IT skills, you can do some graphic design, something that can bring you income, so that as people are supporting you, as your parents are supporting you, are also, you know, bringing in something and making the burden a bit, you know, easier for them.
So with education, that's also okay. We've looked a bit about marriage, and I think that's what sometimes, like you said, maybe you're even dating someone 2-3 years, you know that's probably want to marry the person. What are you now waiting for? So, and I think sometimes too, of course, unfortunate things can happen. Like you said, maybe I may be saving for my marriage, then I will have an emergency. My father or mother needs something. I may go into that money. So those ones are exceptions, yes, on that. But sometimes we also want very extravagant weddings. You hear people say, if I don't get this dress of 8,000 cedis as my wedding dress, I'm not getting married. But maybe when she began saving, that wasn't her motive. But because you went to Martha's wedding and saw that Martha, but maybe somebody bought the dress for me as their way of supporting my wedding. So in that development plan, what can you tell us about extravagant expenses? How do we manage that? Okay,
so if we take it down to marriage, I would say that when you are planning, you don't leave your partner out.
Okay.
Because definitely it's the two of you that are going to get married. So when you start planning towards your marriage, you carry your partner along. You let your partner know what you want. You let them understand that this is what I want. And then you agree that yes, we can do it, or no, we can't do it. So that we don't get to a point where one person is agitated, one person says, I want this specific gown. If you don't buy it, then I'm out of the marriage. Then I would ask you, when you started, what were the conversations about? These are things we should start talking about very early in the marriage. You know, somebody said these days the relationship is just shawarma. People don't talk about the crucial things.
I think sometimes when you want to talk about it, people feel like you are. I heard one guy say that sometimes you are too serious. Like, just have fun, and it's like you want things to be done like official somewhere. I'm like, we need to have the hard conversation.
Marriage is a serious thing, so if you are too serious, it's fine. Marriage is a serious business. It's not a child's play. So right from the onset, the kind of conversations you have, it will really, it will be able to tell you the kind of partner.
About money.
Exactly, the kind of partner you are having. If she says, I want this particular, gown and all that, then you let her understand that this is what I can afford. Or if she still insists that she wants it, then buy it for yourself. Because the man says, this is how much I can afford. If you're still insisting, what stops you from buying it for yourself? If you can buy it for yourself, that's okay. But if the man is going to buy it, I think we have to be considerate.
Yeah.
Yes, as women, we have to be considerate. And we should also check the kind of conversations we have right from the onset, so that we don't get to the point where you want to take things further and somebody's, demand is pulling you back. So let's have the right conversations. Let the person know. Let's be transparent. This is my income. This is how far I can go. This is how much I can pay for a gown, or this is how much I can pay for a cake. When you hear the amount people pay for wedding cake, when I did my wedding, I didn't do any cake, and police didn't catch me.
I think it's the way we copy. Yeah. It's the way we see. There are people that I know that when they were like getting married, they had people who just did certain things for them for free. So depending on the kind of friends you have in your circle, if I have a friend who is a baker, she may say, okay, I don't have money to support you, but your wedding cake is on me. Or 2 or 3 friends of yours can come together and say, 3 of us are going to contribute, say, 500 cedis and get you a wedding cake. And that friend, so people compare. I was telling someone that, you see, when we say big weddings, it's because when you're a circle of friends, if I have up to 10 very good friends who have very good cars, and it's my wedding, and I just say, okay, my wedding, I'm wearing red and white, they'll go and just get red and white, and they'll all dread their car and be following me. You would think that I went to rent all those cars for a convoy, but
exactly,
it's not.
Exactly.
Now let's go back to building your potential, building not just education, but if, okay, I'm a shy person, I want to be more assertive, what can I do to become more assertive and build my potential, my purpose in 2024?
Okay, so I think building of potential, is different for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. So it still comes back to what I said. You have to be able to identify where you are currently. So which aspect of your life do you want to build upon? That is what will determine the kind of goals you would even set for yourself in the first place. So if you are looking at probably, developing your self-confidence, then you should be looking at taking public speaking, classes or lessons like you are doing here. They could come and sit around and just look around and see what is going on, watch for themselves and learn. So it looks different for everybody because it's it's personal for everybody. It won't look the same. So don't watch what somebody's doing. Assess for your own self what you need to do or where you need to go to. Then you'll be able to determine what you need to do to be able to get there. And it will still come back to the what, why, who do you need? If you want to build your confidence, then you should be asking yourself, who do I need to help me? When? And all of that. So it still comes back to what we have discussed. It's just that we have to, do the assessment for our own selves. And like I said, it looks different for everybody. It's not a one size fits all. So depending on which area of your life you want to improve on, that is what will, show the things you have to do or the things you have to let go, the new skills you have to build to be able to get to the place that you want to go to.
Let's take a breather. We'll be back. Growing up, it was so difficult finding answers to all the questions that bothered my young mind. As soon as I found my purpose and understood my mandate, I made it a mission to answer as many questions as possible, bothering young people. I have mentored, inspired, and helped young people unearth their potentials through the Martha Inspires Foundation. However, I feel it is time to bring the conversation much closer to you. We have you in mind, you the young person. With my team of experts, we bring to you the Reflection Show, a show that focuses on addressing issues young people face, helping them to unearth their potentials, and giving them nothing but the best avenues in helping them solve issues that they may face in their young age. Join me, Martha Inspires, every Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Truth TV, the Reflection Show, restoring hopes. Welcome back. Give us your final words, tidbits we need to know, things we shouldn't forget.
Okay. So my final words, when the new year comes, everybody is energetic.
And
everybody
talk about
excited.
Secular Incorporated and how people can, Global Purpose Center and how people can get in touch with you.
Sure. So when the year starts, we are all excited. We all want to do big things. We all want to achieve big things. But what will separate those who would eventually achieve the big things from those who will not be able to achieve the big things is personal development. And it's the plan you are going to put in place to ensure that you really achieve the goals you have set for yourself. So I want to encourage everybody who is watching that personal development is a tool. It's a very great tool that we have, that we can apply its principles to be able to get to the place that we want to go to. What I usually use to motivate myself is that God has big plans for you. God has great plans for you. But your present self cannot take you there. And God wouldn't want to give you the blessing that will eventually kill you. There are people who have bought cars and the cars kill them. Not because, driving who then buy, you see. So the place that God is taking us to, we need to be a better versions of ourselves. And so we should all take personal development very important. And the plan to, we should all, when the year starts, don't just put it in your head. It will vanish. It will go away. Let's all sit down, make some time to be able to write. If the goal is that important, you should be able to make time to sit and then write it so that you'll be able to achieve it. So what I do at Global Purpose Center, I'm a corporate trainer. And basically what we do is that we help corporate organizations to be able to achieve their human resource development goals. So we train corporate women and men on leadership. We do entrepreneurship, career development. We do personal development like I've just talked about. And so that is basically what we do at Global Purpose Center. Last year, 2023, we trained about over 60 corporate people in leadership and entrepreneurship alone. In Tamale alone. And so our doors are opened. If you have an organization, you want to invite us, our doors are opened. You can call on us and we'll deliver.
And you have a Facebook page,
yes,
Global Purpose Center.
Global
Purpose
Purpose Center, exactly. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. They can always get in touch with us. We are in Tamale, but we are available to travel. We can go anywhere.
You can also reach out to us on our official number. We can get in touch with her for you and all that if you want to get your team and your staff get trained. Thank you so much for making time with us and starting the year strong for us, helping us to know how we can develop our plan and how we can do it. We pray that this year becomes so big. I'm trying to see how I'm going back to check whether last year the things I said I wanted to do, I was really able to do them. So thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate. So the year has just started. Last year, the Martha Inspires Foundation, we did so much. We moved into our new space. We reached out to a lot of young people, and between November and December, we reached almost 2,000 children coming into our reading clinic, and we are still appealing to you out there for learning materials. The children are so many. The books we have are not enough. So if you are out there, whether you are in Ghana, you are in whichever country you are watching us, and you have books to donate to rural children, we are accepting these books. Clothes, you are a donor who is looking to do some projects in Ghana about youth livelihood, advocacy, sexual and gender-based violence, mentorship, you want to do any project in Ghana, especially in the northern zone, just get in touch with the Martha Inspires Foundation. MarthaInspires.org is our email, it's our website, Martha Inspires Foundation on Facebook, and 054-9578-512. Give us a call. You can also WhatsApp us on that number, and we are always at your doorstep. The Reflection TV show team, the Martha Inspires Foundation team, we say thank you for being with us in 2023. This year is going to be great. It's going to be wow. It's going to be powerful. Just keep supporting us. Just keep being in tune with us. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. It's bye for now. Growing up, it was so difficult finding answers to all the questions that bothered my young mind. As soon as I found my purpose and understood my mandate, I made it a mission to answer as many questions as possible, bothering young people. I have mentored, inspired, and helped young people unearth their potentials through the Martha Inspires Foundation. However, I feel it is time to bring the conversation much closer to you. We have you in mind, you the young person. With my team of experts, we bring to you the Reflection Show, a show that focuses on addressing issues young people face, helping them to unearth their potentials, and giving them nothing but the best avenues in helping them solve issues that they may face in their young age. Join me, Martha Inspires, every Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. on Truth TV, the Reflection Show, restoring hopes.
My name is Naima. I have a challenge with my aunt since I was in basic 5. If I'm in class learning on the board, it reflects. So I can't see well, I can't read well, so I have a problem with learning. So when I heard about the eye screen in Martha Inspires Foundation, I decided to come over and see how it will help me, and I'm very happy to be here today.